So we have a few clients that are in the process of investing in a home care business. And for those that aren't familiar, there's a ton of home care franchises. We've interviewed franchisees, franchisors. Effectively, you're finding caregivers, whether it's medical or non-medical, to help mostly elderly patients at their homes. So it's almost like a marketplace. You find the caregivers, you find the elderly patients, you place them, and it's not a business that requires a huge upfront investment. Say the franchise fee is $40K, you're going to have a very basic office. Some allow you even to work from home. After that, there's the technology, but there's not a ton of cost. So say you've already spent $60K, $70K, you also travel to the US to investigate the opportunity, you have our fee, I don't know what other business plan writer fees, and you're at like the 70, 80K mark, but the franchisor is telling you that, hey, you need to have $50,000 working capital to pay these caregivers until you hit break even. Does that 50K go to the 100,000, or is it just the money that you've spent and the government wants to see that you've spent 100,000?
Right. So it's really receipts, right? That's what they're going to tell you. And many of the consulate websites actually will say that if you get on them. Some of them don't. Some of them are very poorly written. But that's really what they're looking for. So they're looking for the receipts. So whatever the receipts are, that's what you've invested, right? Not the money. Because I get that question a lot, and I'm sure you do as well. Like, oh, well, I've got 150. I'll just move it over to the account, and then we can apply, right? Like, well, you do need to move it to the account. That's a good first step. That's a great first step. And now we've got to spend it. So we're looking for the receipts. What is the total of the receipts? That's what we count as part of the investment. Yeah.
Well said. And for those clients that have they're trying to get to the 100K level, we've seen if your business justifies a company car, a van, we've seen that count towards the 100K and then shoot the client up to 110,000, 120,000. A lot of 100%. Service businesses whether it's painting or you're going to the business, you're going to the client's home, you're going to need a vehicle, and vehicles in the US can range anywhere from 5K to 50K plus. So
holy macaroni, can they?
Yes. Pass that $100,000 threshold.
Yeah. 100%. And I will say, so this is what I tell people about vehicles. I have definitely used vehicles as part of it. Definitely in the way that you said. So if we use a vehicle, I usually say it should be part of the business plan, meaning driving is part of what people pay you to do. Yeah. Right. So, and that is, so if you're having something like the home health that you mentioned, or let's say it's a cleaning service, or let's say it's whatever. So you have to go at that. That's part of the service, right? Like, hey, we charge $100 for these consultations or whatever, or we charge you however much a day to come to your house and do X, Y, and Z, or, or there's other stuff that's maybe even more obvious. Like, oh, I have a construction company. Well, we got to carry all of this stuff from here to there, and it's got to be a truck, right? So because we've got all of this paint and whatever. So if it's part of the business plan, then I normally will include it. I always say too, add that, wrap it, or put a sign on the side or whatever. And then that really shows like, this is not, and especially if you have, the Mercedes Sprinter vans, or you have like a big truck. I mean, this is not something you would drive to the grocery store or the movies. I mean, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory, but if you have more of like what we were just talking about, home health or something like that, you could also have a Toyota Camry to do that, right? But really, that's where I say wrap it, or get like the
logo on, make it super clear. Right. It's going to help you get more clients.
That's right.
It helps you get the visa. Right. It helps you get more clients.
That's right. And it's part of the business plan. And as far as the expense that you talked about, I mean, obviously, the sky's the limit. It's like, how much does it cost to have a wedding? I don't know. That's going to be on you. Same with the car. But I always tell people too, listen, you can lease it and that's fine, but only the lease payments you've already made are going to count. So if you really need, hey, we need another 30,000 something, write the check for $30,000 for that new Camry or whatever it is that you're buying, then we include it. So it's part of the business plan. It has some sort of marketing, advertising as well, and whatever you've already paid.